It's a case that's left investigators puzzled for decades. Who shot and killed two McDonald's managers as they were closing up shop? It's a crime that some say shook the Macon community. And for the first time in 30 years, Bibb County investigators released crime scene photos to WMAZ in the hopes that revisiting this story may compel someone to come forward with a tip.
This is the first time in my history of law enforcement that we have ever had a crime that has aroused the community as much as this.
It's very scary, very. I never had anything like this happen this close to home before.
Our community will not tolerate this.
Today, you'll find an Arby's at the corner of Northside and Riverside Drive. But 30 years ago, it was a McDonald's and the scene of a shocking double murder.
Back in those days in the county, we didn't have too many homicides, and so this was a true whodunit.
Co-managers Frederick Key and Stephen Rose locked up around 2:30 in the morning and began walking towards their cars. That's when they heard gunshots.
Rick Key was shot right over where you see that car parked at the drive-through.
At the time, Bibb County Sheriff David Davis was a patrol deputy, the second or third officer who arrived on scene.
Mr. Rose, from the evidence that we gathered, it appeared that he ran from the side of the McDonald's, ran across the street over here to what was then the Gulf Life Insurance, to this area down where you see the air conditioning unit.
Davis says Rose was shot once in the back and once in the head.
This tended to indicate that somebody didn't want witnesses.
Old press releases say the murder weapon was a .22 caliber pistol. The only suspects at the time, two men in an old model Chevrolet Monte Carlo or Cutlass that drove through the parking lot about an hour before the murders.
Living in the area with these people around or free still not found, it is scary.
Whoever shot the pair didn't make out with much. The company money had already been deposited into the bank earlier that night. But as the days passed, the reward money grew, at one point reaching $30,000.
The larger the amount of reward money, the quicker the crime will be solved.
Now in 2018, the case still lies dormant, unsolved decades later.
Whoever did this has kept this secret for all these almost 30 years.
Sheriff Davis says he's still hopeful that his department can solve the case and is asking the community to come forward with any information they might have.
We hope that with this information here almost 30 years later, that somebody might remember something. Maybe this will jog their memory.
And Davis says they've followed several leads and theories over the years, but none of them materialized. He says in a lot of cold cases, investigators rely on the public to help them wrap up a case.